The screen door creaked open, its familiar rhythm a low sigh against the crisp Christmas evening air. I sat in the old rocking chair, my fingers gripping its worn edges while I watched my family gather on the porch. Denise playfully nudged Marcus with her elbow, laughter bubbling between them. Their joy felt palpable against the cold air, a warmth that made me smile despite the weight of our family's troubles hanging over us like storm clouds. The holiday lights twinkled along the porch rail, casting soft shadows that danced with each gentle gust of wind. I could feel the pull of nostalgia tugging at my heart, mixing seamlessly with anxiety about what might unfold tonight. Do we really have to go through this again? Samuel's voice cut through the chatter, his brow furrowed as he adjusted his glasses. He was already tense, and it only took one small spark to ignite his irritation. I shifted in my chair, feeling the chill creep up from the wooden floorboards into my bones. "Let's just enjoy tonight," I said softly, trying to soothe him and hoping to diffuse any budding conflict. Leonard stepped forward then, clutching a stack of envelopes tighter than necessary. The way he held them, almost protectively, hinted at something important hidden within their depths. My heartbeat quickened. I didn't need to see the contents to sense they were anything but cheerful greetings. His gaze drifted around the group, as if gauging our reactions, before finally landing on me. "Helen," he began, his tone serious, yet hesitant. My skin prickled as dread settled in my stomach. "What is it?" I asked, both curious and wary, hoping this wasn't going where I feared it might go. With a deep breath, he opened the first envelope and pulled out a document. "These are bills, major expenses we need to address immediately." As he spoke, I noticed Denise lean closer to Marcus, her confident demeanor faltering under this unexpected weight. A flicker of concern crossed her face when she glanced at me. $18,000, Leonard continued, reading off figures that felt like daggers plunging into our festive spirit. "And this is just for starters." My throat tightened as reality sank in. This was not how I envisioned our family gathering ending, the holiday cheer overshadowed by financial burdens we could barely manage. I locked eyes with Samuel. His jaw clenched tightly, and I could almost see the wheels turning in his mind. He would want to confront Leonard about how we even got here, a conversation I knew would spiral into blame and anger if left unchecked. "Hold on," I said firmly, raising my hand to cut through the tension in the air. The motion felt foreign amidst all that had been said, but necessary nonetheless. Leonard paused mid-sentence, but didn't lower his gaze. Instead, it hardened as if bracing for a fight. "What now?" he asked sharply. "We need to talk about this calmly," I replied slowly, choosing my words carefully as if handling fragile glassware. "Not here and not now." Samuel shook his head slightly, but stayed silent for once. Perhaps he sensed that venting our frustrations amidst family wasn't wise tonight, not when everyone was already uneasy. "I suggest we take time. Let's gather tomorrow morning instead," I decided boldly, wishing they would understand there was more at stake than money or honor right now. We needed unity more than anything else. We were teetering on the edge of fracture. Leonard stared at me incredulously, but then nodded slowly after what felt like an eternity of silence filled only by rustling leaves in our yard. It seemed an agreement hung heavy between us, even if unspoken, a tentative truce forged amid troubles threatening to consume us whole. As I exhaled deeply, releasing some tension from my chest, Denise moved marginally closer to me with a knowing glance that stirred warmth beneath my skin, her solidarity reassuring during an uncertain time like this one. "Fine," Leonard conceded reluctantly before crumpling one of the documents absent-mindedly in his fist, like discarded wrapping paper after gifts had been opened too hastily. But there was still something else lingering unaddressed. The uncomfortable truth about how these debts came to be, or who was truly accountable for their origin, remained shadowy in our midst. I glanced around at all their faces. Denise's concern etched plainly across hers, while Marcus maintained an unreadable expression, and suddenly wondered whether facing those shameful truths would bring us closer together or drive us further apart than ever before. The evening wore on with an odd mix of laughter and strained smiles, as we attempted to weave back into holiday spirits despite looming uncertainties overshadowing every cheerful moment shared outdoors. With every creak of that old rocking chair beneath me, swaying gently back and forth under shifting weight, I recognized how easily relationships can become frayed just as swiftly as they hold firm when tested by hardship. Just then, Denise approached me quietly away from prying eyes, while Marcus kept watch over everyone else from afar, a protective stance reminiscent of past Christmas gatherings turned awkward by misunderstandings. "Are you sure this is going to work?" she whispered anxiously while brushing strands of hair behind her ear, a sign she was genuinely worried about what lay ahead for us all without proper resolutions made tonight. I wanted desperately to reassure her that returning home tomorrow wouldn't end messy, but also knew deep within my gut that unresolved issues rarely do so easily without confrontation first taking place. Even risking further harm before healing can begin anew amongst family bonds, so often cherished yet fragile under pressure.
The stack of bills lay before me, each one a dusty relic, whispering stories of what was lost. As I touched the rough surface of the weathered wooden table, it felt like an old friend under my fingers, bracing against the weight of our unspoken fears. I laid the pile on the weathered wooden table of our porch. The surface was rough against my fingers as I traced the edges of one bill with hesitation. Outside, the garden was still, but inside me, a storm brewed. "How much is this?" Marcus's voice pierced through the thick tension in the air, his brow furrowed with disbelief as he leaned closer to inspect the paperwork. I could see his eyes darting back and forth, searching for answers that weren't there. "It's not just that," Samuel interjected. He crossed his arms tightly over his chest as if trying to physically hold back the tide of anger rising within him. The creaking of his rocking chair spoke to his unease. It had become an extension of his worries. Denise stood aside with her arms wrapped around herself, her gaze flickering between us and the papers strewn across the table. Each breath she took seemed shallow, as if she feared what would come next. Leonard stepped forward, pushing down his own emotions with a forced calmness. His hands were tucked deep into his pockets, betraying a sense of unease despite his composed words. I glanced at the garden hose coiled in a corner nearby, a reminder that even gardens need maintenance. Just like our family needed tending, we were wilting under financial pressure without care or attention. "Who are we kidding?" I finally said, my voice cutting through their apprehension like a knife. I reached out and grabbed one of those glossy bills again, feeling its weight in my palm, a burden that felt personal now. "This isn't just about money." Marcus looked at me, confusion etched on his face. The underlying tones in my words resonated with him, sparking something deeper than just shock at the sum on paper. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. I took a breath, steadying myself against the rush of emotions swirling around us. Every number here represents decisions we made together, every dinner we shared, every gift we exchanged. I gestured broadly at the bills again, as if they could conjure back all our moments instead of just debts. Serena walked up slowly from behind Leonard, her face pale and drawn tight with worry. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and bit her lip nervously. "It's not just about what's written here," she added softly. "It's about where we go from here." Her words hung in the air like an unanswered question. "I say we cut unnecessary expenses," Samuel proposed abruptly, shifting in his chair with renewed energy as if suddenly awake to our reality. "But that's not fair," Denise retorted sharply. Her posture stiffened defensively as she faced her father directly. Her voice trembled slightly but remained resolute. At that moment, something clicked within me, an understanding that this wasn't solely about finances, but about preserving our bond amidst chaos. "Let's have a family meeting," I declared firmly. My resolve hardened like steel as I met each eye around our small circle, the collective weight resting on all our shoulders, mirrored by those unforgiving bills before us. "We can tackle this together," I said more softly after realizing how my tone had shifted already. It didn't feel right to be harsh when love was involved here too. The room fell silent for a heartbeat as they processed my words. This acknowledgement was key to breaking down walls between us, as much as tackling those numbers looming large ahead. But then came that lingering doubt. What if confronting these issues only dug up deeper secrets? What else lay buried beneath our careful facades? As everyone absorbed my decision to unite rather than divide us further, I sensed movement behind me. A breeze stirred unexpectedly against my skin, like whispers carried through thin air. It made me wonder what else might drift into focus when we finally unravel everything kept hidden away until now. The porch creaked underfoot, while uncertainty pulsed like electric current among us all. The future lay uncertain ahead, yet inevitable steps beckoned towards resolution or further unraveling. What path would we choose next? The air in the waiting room thickens as I glance at the clock on the wall. It ticks loudly, each second echoing in my ears like a countdown to something inevitable. My fingers tap nervously against the worn leather of my purse. I can feel my heartbeat quickening with every tick. "Do you think they'll let us in soon?" Jake asks, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. He glances at the closed door, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and anxiety. His hands fidget with the zipper of his jacket, a small but telling sign of his unease. I want to reassure him, but uncertainty wraps around me like a heavy blanket. The nurse had been curt when she walked by earlier, her clipboard clutched tightly against her chest as if it were a lifeline. My stomach twists at the thought of what might be happening behind that door. Suddenly, a new presence enters, the doctor. He strides into the waiting room, his lab coat flapping lightly around him. His expression is unreadable, and I can sense a shift in the atmosphere as our eyes lock momentarily. "Mrs. Parker?" he calls out, his voice firm yet tempered with caution. My breath catches in my throat as I rise slowly from my seat, feeling more like a puppet poised for its next movement. I take a deep breath before stepping forward. "What's going on?" The words come out sharper than intended, but desperation fuels me now. The doctor hesitates for just a moment before gesturing toward the closed door behind him with an index finger resting upon his lips, a reminder to keep quiet about whatever was unfolding inside.
The yard's edge blurred with shadows as dusk settled in. The garden hose coiled like a snake against the porch railing. I glanced down at the Zhangse Gua resting on my lap, its crinkled edges reflecting fading light. Denise was reading aloud from that list, her voice steady but tinged with an uncharacteristic excitement. Each item she pronounced felt like a pinprick. My fingers absently traced the names, feeling the imprints of expectation etched into the paper. "Can you believe it? A new bike for Marcus," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling as if she were revealing a grand secret. But with each mention of gifts, I could feel my stomach twist tighter. Leonard leaned forward in his chair, his brow furrowed with concern as he cut in. "We can't afford this right now." The air thickened around us, suffocating and charged. I could sense everyone shifting slightly, grappling with what was left unsaid. As Denise continued to rattle off the items, a tablet and new game console, even an overpriced skateboard, I felt heat creeping up my neck. This moment was spiraling out of control while I sat paralyzed. What had seemed like innocent holiday joy morphed into accusations veiled in frivolity. "Maybe we should focus on what we actually need," Samuel suggested softly from his spot beside me. I could see him fiddling with the armrest of his chair, knuckles white against its worn fabric. He looked weary, tired of this conversation that kept resurfacing every year. A sudden chill swept through me as I realized how deep our financial troubles ran. The bills had piled high after Aunt Loretta's medical expenses. The thought clung to me like ivy, crawling up an old wall, persistent and choking. "Let's just not forget why we celebrate," I added quickly, trying to diffuse the tension that filled the air like smoke from a burning firewood. Denise paused and looked at me expectantly, her enthusiasm slipping away like sand through fingers. Then came Serena's whispered revelation, an unexpected revelation hanging heavy in her words. "But Mom said we'd have a good Christmas this year." My heart sank at that statement. She had clung onto it since summer, a promise born from necessity rather than truth. "I thought we agreed on no extravagant gifts," I said firmly, feeling a spark ignite inside me.
The zangsikwa began to feel more burdensome than joyful, its very existence igniting conflict over responsibilities that lingered quietly beneath our cheerful facade. Looking around at their faces, each drawn tight with unexpressed feelings, I made my decision clear. This year will be different. I announced as if sealing fate with those words alone. My voice shook slightly but held steady against growing unease surrounding us. Denise blinked at me in disbelief as Marcus shifted restlessly in his seat, the reality sinking in slowly. "What do you mean?" she finally asked, uncertainty lacing her tone. "We won't buy any of these things," I replied resolutely, feeling lighter somehow despite the oncoming storm brewing in their expressions. It was time for honesty over hollow promises, an end to our cycle of denial. "Are you serious?" Leonard's voice rose slightly as he exchanged stunned glances with Samuel. There was urgency building behind them now, a shift from passive acceptance to confrontation that stirred my insides. "Yes," I affirmed again, scanning their reactions closely and noting how Denise's face fell in disappointment while Marcus stared wide-eyed at me. That genuine shock changed everything. It rippled across our fragile family unit like a pebble disturbing still water. There was silence as they processed my declaration. Then came Serena's soft plea from amidst it all. "But Mom said we'd have a good Christmas this year." My heart sank at that statement. She had clung onto it since summer, a promise born from necessity rather than truth. "And I thought we agreed on no extravagant gifts," I said firmly, feeling a spark ignite inside me. The zangsikwa began to feel more burdensome than joyful, its very existence igniting conflict over responsibilities that lingered quietly beneath our cheerful facade. Looking around at their faces, each drawn tight with unexpressed feelings, I made my decision clear. This year will be different. I announced as if sealing fate with those words alone. My voice shook slightly but held steady against growing unease surrounding us. Denise blinked at me in disbelief as Marcus shifted restlessly in his seat, the reality sinking in slowly. "What do you mean?" she finally asked, uncertainty lacing her voice. "We won't buy any of these things." I replied resolutely, feeling lighter somehow despite the storm brewing in their expressions. It was time for honesty over hollow promises, an end to our cycle of denial. "Are you serious?" Leonard's voice rose slightly. As he exchanged stunned glances with Samuel, there was urgency building behind them now, a shift from passive acceptance to confrontation that stirred my insides. "Yes," I affirmed again, scanning their reactions closely and noting how Denise's face fell in disappointment while Marcus stared wide-eyed at me. That genuine shock changed everything. It rippled across our fragile family unit like a pebble disturbing still water. There was silence as they processed my declaration. Then came Serena's soft plea from amidst it all. "But what will we tell everyone?" Her innocent question echoed back through generations of past holidays spent, wrapped in wrapping paper and smiles hiding deeper truths. I took a deep breath and let out what felt like months' worth of weight, the relief mingling seamlessly with anxiety swirling within me now. "We'll tell them we're focusing on each other." And as my eyes darted back toward Denise, who sat frozen with clenched fists resting on her knees, I knew there would be pushback ahead, discontent stirring amongst them all still bubbling under the surface. A flicker of defiance sparked within me, despite knowing full well how challenging this path would be for us going forward. Perhaps embracing uncomfortable conversations could lead us somewhere unexpectedly rich, somewhere honest amidst our tangled lives. However, just beneath that thought lay another nagging question. Would any of us truly embrace such change when faced with uncomfortable realities? The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a harsh glare on the worn linoleum floor. I feel my palms growing clammy against the cool surface of the counter as I watch Tom pace beside me. His footsteps echo in the sterile room, each step like a metronome counting down our dwindling patience. "Can they hurry up?" he mutters, running a hand through his hair with an anxious tug. The gesture pulls at my heart, reminding me of how tightly wound he is right now. I take a deep breath and reach for the small plastic cup filled with water, hoping to soothe my own rising anxiety. The water sloshes slightly as I lift it, sending ripples across its surface. I glance toward the waiting area where Claire sits hunched over her phone, oblivious to our tension. Suddenly, a nurse steps into the room, clipboard in hand. Her face is taut and serious as she approaches us. Helen Parker," she asks. My stomach drops at the sound of my name. Yes, I reply, my voice barely above a whisper. The doctor needs to speak with you about your husband. Her eyes flicker to Tom before returning to me, gauging our reactions. I nod slowly, sensing that this moment will shift everything we've been holding on to so tightly. Okay, I manage to say, as she motions us to follow her down the hallway. I can feel Tom's body tense beside me like a coiled spring ready to snap. He glances at me briefly, uncertainty etched across his face. What if it's bad news? He whispers suddenly as we move deeper into the labyrinthine hospital corridors, wondering what new truths lie ahead.
The creaking of the rocking chair is a faded document from a summer afternoon decades ago, its rhythm captured in bureaucratic ink. I can feel the gentle sway beneath me, as if it could cradle all my worries away. Tonight, however, the air is thick with tension. Samuel leans forward, fingers drumming against his knees, his expression tight like a string pulled too taut. I sit across from him, feeling the weight of every bill we've received, each one an unwelcome guest at our holiday gathering. $18,000 in expenses? Leonard bursts out, his voice echoing against the porch walls. How can you justify this? I grip the armrest of the rocking chair, trying to steady my nerves. The wood is smooth under my palm, but feels foreign in this climate of accusation. Denise shifts uncomfortably on the edge of her seat, glancing at Marcus for support. He remains silent, but watches intently, perhaps weighing who will break first. Tonight, however, the air is thick with tension. Samuel leans forward, fingers drumming against his knees, his expression tight like a string pulled too taut. I sit across from him, feeling the weight of every bill we've received, each one an unwelcome guest at our holiday gathering. $18,000 in expenses? Leonard bursts out, his voice echoing against the porch walls. How can you justify this? I grip the armrest of the rocking chair, trying to steady my nerves. The wood is smooth under my palm, but feels foreign in this climate of accusation. Denise shifts uncomfortably on the edge of her seat, glancing at Marcus for support. He remains silent, but watches intently, perhaps weighing who will break first. I notice Serena biting her lip. She's always been sensitive to conflict. I thought we were putting family first, I replied quietly, forcing myself to maintain eye contact with Leonard. His brow furrows even deeper as he shakes his head. A gift list? This isn't some holiday wish list. It's unrealistic, he snaps back, frustration bubbling over like boiling water on a hot stove. I catch a glimpse of Samuel's eyes narrowing at Leonard's tone. Tension crackles between them like static electricity. My heart races as I sense we are teetering on the brink of something larger than just financial woes. It's about respect and honor. Why don't we take a step back, I suggest, trying to soften the sharp edges in the air. Let's approach this calmly. But my plea hangs there, suspended in the charged atmosphere like a balloon waiting to pop. Denise shifts again and whispers something under her breath that I can barely catch. It feels dismissive. A small cut at stings more than any shout could. What do you think we should do then? Marcus finally speaks up, looking directly at me with expectation in his gaze. His arms cross tightly over his chest while I ponder how much honesty I can afford right now. I exhale slowly and lean back into the rocking chair. Its motion isn't soothing, it's unsettling, reminding me of how things used to be before all these complications arrived, before bills became not just numbers, but symbols of our broken dreams. Denise rolls her eyes slightly as if I'm wasting time with these thoughts instead of coming up with a solution. She clearly wants results now. Perhaps I hesitate again, considering my words carefully as each syllable feels heavy on my tongue. We should discuss what truly matters, not just money, but trust among us. A low murmur rumbles through them. They're processing this new angle, but their expressions remain skeptical, like clouds gathering before a storm about to break loose. They need to understand what this means for us, Samuel interjects sharply, leaning closer again, vulnerability stripped away from him like peeling paint off old furniture. The moment hangs delicately before us, like glass on a ledge, ready to shatter with one wrong move or misstep. Doesn't it matter how much love went into each item? My voice rises slightly. Despite my intention for calmness, it echoes off the porch rails like an unanswered question spiraling into nothingness. Marcus raises an eyebrow, clearly intrigued by where I'm heading, yet uncertain about its validity in this argument among family members charged with their own opinions and beliefs. It's not just about things, Helen, Leonard replies firmly, while running a hand through his hair as if he might brush away my sentimentality along with it. I clench my jaw briefly, the frustration boiling just underneath my skin, but swallowing it down feels necessary for now. Maybe we can find some middle ground. My suggestion is met with silence again, an invisible wall rising up between our wants and needs while questions dart around unspoken amongst us all, like fireflies caught in dusk. Serena watches me closely now. Her expression softens slightly, as if she realizes there's more at stake than just finances. The intertwined threads of family honor suffocating any sense of peace. What would happen if we acknowledged these feelings outright? The idea lingers temptingly, but remains unvoiced amidst tensions tangled tighter than ever, the very real threat looming over everything we're afraid to confront directly, yet deeply aware exists nonetheless. In that moment, all eyes are locked on mine, as though expecting answers only I have the power to give amid swirling doubts surrounding us under those dim porch lights flickering softly overhead, a gentle reminder that nothing is truly resolved until every voice is heard clearly, without fear or hesitation. What shall become of us when tomorrow dawns?
The porch felt like a boundary between warmth and unease, shadows stretching long as the sun dipped low. A single rocking chair creaked softly in its rhythm as I absent-mindedly brushed my fingers over a list I had avoided looking at for far too long. I felt the coolness of the silver pen resting against my palm, its weight oddly comforting. It was supposed to be a simple holiday gathering filled with laughter and joy, but the atmosphere turned heavy as family secrets loomed in the air. Samuel leaned against the railing, arms crossed tightly over his chest. His brow furrowed as he glanced at me, asking silently if I was ready for this confrontation. Denise stood nearby, biting her lip and wringing her hands. She looked between me and Marcus, who had just entered with a frown etched on his face. The tension was palpable, thick enough to cut with that silver pen. "Mom," he said finally, breaking the silence that felt like a wall between us. "We need to talk about what happened last Christmas." His voice sent a jolt through me. Memories of that day flooded back uninvited. There had been whispers of dishonor among family members then too, but we had dismissed them as mere gossip. "Is it really necessary?" I asked, feeling my stomach twist at the thought of what might come next. I could sense every eye in the room on me. "It is," Marcus replied firmly, stepping closer. "You deserve to know." He reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope, its crinkled edges crisp against his fingertips. I felt heat rush to my cheeks, a mix of embarrassment and dread spreading through me. The envelope was marked with my name in bold letters, the same letters that now haunted my thoughts like ghosts from last year's party. "You should see this," he urged. With nervous hands, I took the envelope and hesitated before tearing it open. The sound of paper ripping echoed sharply around us as everyone held their breath. Inside lay photographs, evidence of conversations held behind closed doors that should have never left our family circle. Each image captured moments of betrayal that sliced deeper than any knife could wound. I swallowed hard, feeling bile rise in my throat as I studied each photo under the dim light filtering through the porch's wooden beams. These were not simple misunderstandings. They were calculated decisions made without my knowledge. The weight of betrayal pressed down on my shoulders like a winter coat 2 sizes too big. I suddenly understood why Samuel appeared so rigid. He had been carrying this secret alongside me. "What do you want me to do with these?" I managed to choke out. There was something soft yet urgent in Marcus's gaze as he answered, "You must confront Serena." The mention of Serena sent a ripple through my body, a mixture of anger and fear curling around my core like tendrils of smoke. She had always been charmingly deceptive,
wrapping herself in layers of kindness while hiding daggers beneath. "It's not just about her," Denise chimed in quietly. Her voice trembled slightly as she clutched her arms tightly around herself. "It's about all of us." They all waited for me to make up my mind, each one caught in their own web of uncertainty and disillusionment. The rocking chair creaked again subtly beside me, as if echoing their expectations. Finally, steadying myself, I took a deep breath and set down the envelope on the table beside us. "I can't let this go," I declared firmly, grabbing hold of that silver pen again, my resolve solidifying within me like concrete setting in place. "Let's gather everyone tomorrow night," I continued with newfound determination coursing through my veins, while glancing at each face before me. "We'll face this together." A momentary look of surprise washed over Samuel's face before it settled into admiration mixed with relief. For once, we weren't just standing apart as individual pieces, we were becoming united against an unseen enemy lurking among us. As I spoke those words aloud, an odd sensation washed over me, a warmth blooming in my chest, despite the turmoil swirling outside our protective bubble on the porch. Yet amidst that flicker of hope was another realization. Serena wouldn't take this lightly. There would be consequences for calling her out on her deceitful games. As much as I wished it would bring harmony back into our family circle, there was no denying how much chaos could emerge from such revelations instead. The sunlight dimmed further now, dusk cloaking our surroundings in shadows thick enough to mask intentions and truths alike. I felt a shiver run down my spine. Confronting Serena meant opening Pandora's box, a decision laden with potential heartbreak beyond measure or repair. But despite whatever awaited us inside that darkness, it couldn't be worse than living under false pretenses any longer. Not when honor hung so delicately by a thread like fragile glass waiting to shatter at any moment. What lay ahead remained uncertain. Only one thing was clear. We couldn't hide anymore from each other or ourselves.
Sunlight streamed through the porch slats, casting shifting patterns that danced across the old tin box as I opened it. My fingers brushed against the faded receipts, their edges frayed like the whispers of my past. I sat on the porch, feeling the warmth of the wood beneath me, but an unease settled in my chest. The air was thick with unspoken tensions, as if each breath pulled in whispers of what could be revealed today. Denise stepped outside, her eyes scanning the box with curiosity. "What's that?" she asked, shifting her weight from one foot to another, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. "It belonged to your grandmother," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady as I pulled out a worn receipt. The ink had faded, but the numbers still told stories of simpler times, a time when honor meant something more than just words. She leaned in closer, squinting at the paper as if it held secrets only she could uncover. Did she really owe all that money? Her tone was laced with disbelief. I felt a pang of guilt twist in my gut, as if I were unearthing buried treasures too heavy for her young shoulders. "That's not the whole story," I said softly, tapping the edge of the receipt against my knee. It felt uncomfortable in my hand, an object both precious and painful, as if I were holding a ticking clock instead of mere paper. Just then, Samuel came out to join us. He glanced at the box and raised an eyebrow, his expression unreadable. "What's going on?" he asked, his arms folded across his chest like a shield. "Just looking through some old things," I said quickly, hoping that would divert attention from any lingering questions about debts or dishonor. Samuel had always been practical. His mind cut through emotions like a knife, but today it felt different. The tension surrounding us buzzed like an electric current. "What kind of old things?" he pressed further as he strode closer to us. His gaze shifted from me to Denise and back again. "I found this receipt," I murmured, holding it up between us like an offering. A memory flickered in my mind, the day we had packed up Grandma's belongings after she passed away, and how everything felt raw and unfinished then. Samuel took a step forward and reached for it. "Let me see." His fingers grazed mine before he snatched it from the air, as if I'd pull it back. In that moment, authority shifted subtly toward him. He held power over this fragile piece of our family history.
Denise watched intently as Samuel examined the document under sunlight filtering through the porch railing. "This doesn't look good," he muttered after scanning its contents for barely a second longer than necessary. I felt heat rise in my cheeks. Shame washed over me like cold water crashing against warm skin. Samuel's disapproval stung sharper than usual today. It felt personal somehow when all I wanted was connection amidst chaos. "There's more to it," I insisted firmly, though doubt crept into my voice as uncertainty tangled itself within me. The skeletons hidden behind our family name threatened to rise up around us like a storm waiting to break loose. My heart raced as Denise's eyes shifted between us. Confusion clouded her features, while stirring fresh waves of anxiety deep within me. This was not how I envisioned sharing family history. Not on this porch sweltering under July's sun, not with secrets simmering dangerously close to boiling over. Then a thought struck me suddenly, a strategy brewing beneath layers of fear. "Maybe we can talk about Grandma's choices sometime later." My voice trembled slightly, but grew bolder with every word spoken aloud. Samuel regarded me thoughtfully, but didn't reply immediately. Uncertainty painted his features in shadows that flickered across his face like soft candlelight battling darkness. Denise turned her head sharply toward him, determination written all over her small frame. Small hands clenched tight around thin fabric, draping her sundress, added strength to every syllable spilling from those young lips next door. "You're hiding something." The accusation hung heavy between us, all three hearts pounding together in an awkward rhythm shaped by suspicion and love entwined dangerously close together, but never quite reaching understanding. At that moment, clarity pierced through. We couldn't move forward without confronting these ghosts tethered us down, all wrapped up inside this tin box filled with crumpled memories, waiting silently for acknowledgement before they vanished into oblivion forevermore. "All right," said Samuel cautiously after seconds stretched painfully long across our tense silence. His eyebrows furrowed deeply while weighing options within himself like stones dropped into murky waters below us. Would they create ripples or drown out everything altogether? As anticipation thickened around us like fog creeping silently through trees outside our little bubble beneath graceful eaves overhead, what would come next? On the edge of my porch, I noticed a wildflower tangled in the garden hose, its petals stubbornly bright amid the chaos. I bent down to untwist the green rubber, feeling the coolness against my fingertips as I pulled it free from the muddy grasp of spring. The air had shifted, carrying with it an unspoken weight as Samuel stepped out onto the porch with a stack of documents clutched tightly in his hands. The creaking of the screen door echoed behind him, a sound both familiar and unsettling. "What's that?" I asked, straightening up to face him. My heart raced slightly as I caught a glimpse of the serious expression etched into his features. "It's about Serena," he said, his voice low and steady despite the tremor in his hands. I felt a chill run through me, a tightening in my chest, anticipating what could come next. He handed me the papers while avoiding my gaze. The first page was a Bien Bon Gi Chu, detailing discussions on family honor, a topic that seemed so distant, yet so immediate now. The words blurred for a moment as fear twisted in my stomach. "Are you sure we should be doing this?" I whispered, unsure if I wanted to know more. The documents felt heavy in my grip, like stones sinking into water. "It's necessary." His voice was firm. There was no room for doubt in it. "We owe it to ourselves and to her." I looked down again at the papers, their edges crisp and clean against my trembling fingers. Something about them made me feel trapped, as if they were chains binding me to decisions already made long before today. "I need some time," I murmured, stepping back, as if distancing myself from their implications might lighten my burden. But Samuel moved closer, his presence warming the chill around us like sunlight breaking through clouds. "He can't keep pretending everything is fine," he pressed. His eyes held mine firmly, seeking understanding or perhaps agreement, something that would shift our uneasy balance back toward comfort. "Neither can I admitted softly, sensing a crack forming in our carefully constructed facade. My mind raced through memories. Every choice leading us here felt like pieces of driftwood lost at sea.
Just then, Leonard strolled up from the side yard where he'd been trimming hedges, wiping sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. He glanced between us and frowned slightly at the sight of those papers still clasped in my hand. "What's going on?" he asked bluntly, taking a step towards us while squinting against the afternoon sun. His presence seemed to amplify an already tense atmosphere. "We're discussing honor," I replied quietly, but firmly. It felt imperative to label this moment accurately, to define its potential consequences, even within this small circle of family dynamics. Leonard raised an eyebrow but nodded slowly as if trying to gauge just how deep this conversation would go. Though these two men had known each other for years and shared some unspeakable bonds, I could feel a subtle rift expanding between them now because of what lay before us. As my fingers clutched those documents tighter, Denise came bounding up onto the porch with Serena right behind her, laughter spilling from both women like sunshine breaking through clouds. Their carefree spirit contrasted sharply with our suffocating tension as they paused mid-laughter upon seeing our solemn faces. "What's wrong?" Denise asked innocently while tilting her head slightly to one side. She had always been perceptive. Even without concrete knowledge of our discussion's gravity, she sensed something off-kilter among us. "Just adult stuff," Samuel deflected quickly, with a forced smile that didn't reach his eyes, the kind crafted to hide deeper truths rather than reveal them. Denise shared an uncertain glance with Serena before both turned back towards their task, only half aware that they were dancing on fragile ground beneath feet weighed down by secrets and hidden worries. As they resumed chatting lightly amongst themselves about mundane matters, who would bake cookies for Christmas, the contrast amplified my own internal conflict further still with each passing second. I needed clarity but felt cornered by obligation and expectations layered upon us like old paint chipping away from walls once vibrant and proud. The documents lay in my lap now, like coiled snakes ready to strike, their truths too sharp for comfort, but too crucial to ignore any longer. Serena took notice of all our expressions shifting under those bright lights, hers flickering between curiosity and concern, and stepped forward hesitantly until she stood right beside me. "What do you need from me?" she asked softly but directly, her tone instantly grounded amidst swirling emotions choking me silently inside. The question hung there heavy yet vulnerable between us, a lifeline cast into turbulent waters, but what response could cut through this fog? What if acknowledging certain truths meant sacrificing everything we thought we knew? As thoughts whirled chaotically around without conclusion or clarity emerging after breathless moments stretched and pulled taut like bowstrings readying for release, I finally inhaled deeply before turning back towards Leonard, alongside Samuel's steadfast gaze embedded into mine, searching fervently for direction, yet unyieldingly demanding accountability all at once. Quietly deciding then that this could no longer remain buried beneath layers created out of fear, nor swept aside for mere appearance's sake, I began speaking carefully through clenched teeth, whispering only enough truth suitable for sharing, yet holding back vital details that alone bore tomes worth complexity, just waiting patiently beneath surface calm. Waiting. Would voicing such things be considered betrayal? Or simply honoring commitment forged together across time? The uncertainty hovered there, lingering heavily like shadows stretching across sunlit porches, intertwined intimately among lives forever changed due to choices made long ago, echoing painfully clear through recent revelations unfolding right before our very eyes, leaving questions hanging unanswered.
I tightened my grip on the notary register, my fingers skimming over the embossed seal with a nervous energy. The weight of it pulled at me like a stone, anchoring me in a reality I wasn't sure I was ready to face. Outside, the chill of late afternoon wrapped around the porch. The creak of the screen door drew my attention as Denise stepped through, her brow furrowed and her breath visible in the cold air. She looked determined but nervous, her hands fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. "Mom," she said, her voice low but firm, "we need to talk about the bills." A shiver ran down my spine at those words. $18,000 loomed behind her like a shadow stretching into our family's future. It felt like an avalanche waiting to crush us beneath its weight. I set down the notary register on the old rocking chair, its familiar creak echoing in the stillness. I remembered how that same chair had once held laughter and warmth during Christmas dinners. Now, it seemed to serve as a stark reminder of everything slipping away.
"Denise, we can sort this out," I replied, forcing calm into my voice despite the tightening in my chest. "There's no need for panic." With each word, I tried to hold on to some semblance of control. Yet as Denise's eyes darted towards Samuel's standing by the porch railing, I saw uncertainty flash across her face. The air thickened with tension, as if we were being pulled into an unseen storm. "Dad doesn't see it that way," she countered softly, glancing back at him. "He thinks—" Her words trailed off, leaving an unsettling silence hanging between us. I could feel my heart race as Samuel took a deep breath, his shoulders tense as he approached us. There was something in his gaze that made my stomach twist, a mix of anger and fear that cracked open old wounds. "What are you two talking about?" His voice cut through like glass breaking underfoot. I glanced at Denise before answering, holding back all the swirling emotions threatening to spill over. "Just what we discussed earlier. We'll figure things out." But Samuel wasn't convinced, his eyes narrowed with suspicion. "You think we can just sweep this under the rug? That's not how families work." The words stung more than I anticipated, pushing me into a corner where I had to make a choice, one that would either protect or unravel us further. As Denise shifted uncomfortably beside me, I realized this moment felt pivotal, the kind that could redefine our family dynamic forever. Suddenly, there was a knock on the doorframe behind Samuel. Leonard stepped forward with an air of authority that caught everyone off guard. He was holding a stack of papers tucked under his arm and wore an expression that hinted he knew more than he let on. "I overheard you all," he said calmly, as he surveyed our strained faces, "and it seems we might need some legal clarity here." My pulse quickened at his arrival. His presence was both a relief and another layer of complication layered over our already messy situation. The prospect of involving him brought with it a sense of urgency and dread. "Legal clarity?" Samuel echoed skeptically, crossing his arms tightly against his chest like armor shielding him from any impending fallout. "Yes," Leonard replied evenly, as he placed the documents onto the table beside me and slid them closer with deliberate care. "This involves all of us." I hesitated before looking down at those papers bearing witness to our fractures, the very same ones used for decisions that felt too heavy for our frail family bonds. My fingers grazed their edges while contemplating every implication they held. Denise leaned in closer to me, as if seeking reassurance from my presence alone amid this chaos brewing round us. Her warmth steadied me slightly, but also reminded me how precarious everything felt right now. "There's no other way," Leonard continued, locking eyes with me meaningfully now as if gauging my reaction. "We need to settle these debts together, honorably." The mention of honor sent waves crashing against my insides. It disrupted every resolution I thought we might reach peacefully tonight on this porch under dimming light. "If we do this," I started slowly, choosing each word carefully, like navigating through shards of glass beneath my feet, "it means unveiling truths we've kept hidden." A silence fell over us, a collective pause where only our breaths broke through layers of uncertainty and expectation mingling in the frosty air around us. "Are you ready for that?" Leonard asked pointedly, leaning forward slightly as if his intensity ignited something within me as well. In that moment, despite feeling exposed amidst rising tensions left unspoken between us all, I nodded firmly, because one thing rang clear. Protecting our family depended not just on financial stability, but honoring those invisible bonds woven tightly through love and loyalty alike. As everything hung in balance there upon this fractured threshold, an unseen thread connecting us, binding tighter, I couldn't shake off what lay ahead still, cloaked in shadows lingering beyond tonight's decisions, yet awaiting dawn's reckoning to shine light anew upon us all beneath its glow.